Hey, my beautiful tribe. How are you all doing? How are y'all doing? I hope you guys are having an expansive week. Really just diving into all the areas that you need to expand and find joy and gratitude and blessings along with doing the difficult work. So, anyway, I had a busy day just kind of doing this and all kinds of different things. Went and I got my nails done. I never get pink, but hold on, I'm gonna get it like super close for you guys. I never get pink. I'm not the pink nail kind of girl, but today I saw this and I was like, really like it. So anyway, so I went and I pampered myself a little bit, which is doing that inner work. It is doing that inner work, stopping and pampering self and really taking time for self. So this morning I did some other kinds of, like some work, seeing clients, consults, that kind of thing, putting out a bunch of new events. I'm really excited for this fall. I have some really cool stuff coming up in the DFW area. But like I said, today I did a consult, but then I've also been doing consults because I've had my free consult thing going on for the last 2 months, and it is now over, so don't go over trying to get a free consult. You won't get one. The micro consults are done as far as them being free. But so I've been doing all these consults, and something that I was thinking about today is that I'm hearing a lot this year, and this year in particular, about people not wanting to put in the time, the finances, and actually just making the space to get their dreams, get their goals, get what they desire. And I'm seeing it over and over and over again, and I don't think that people even realize what they're doing. I've had a lot of people coming to me and going, I want this big, beautiful, amazing life. I want amazing sex. I want, the relationship of my dreams. I want the business of my dreams. I want this, beautiful soul-led, really like fuck yes kind of a business. And I just stole Kendall Williams' line about the fuck yes. But yes, all these people coming to me and going, I want this, this beautiful sex life. I want this, I want that. I want to date. I'm like sucking at the dating world right now kind of energy. And what I'm getting instead is, yeah, I really want that, but, I don't have time for it. I don't have time. I don't have space in my schedule for it. I don't have the money, which actually in the title I said space, time and energy, and actually money is our energy. Money is a complete energetic piece. So we are sending energy out when we take our finances and put them on something. So people will be like, I don't have the time right now, and I don't have the space in my world to do that, to incorporate those practices. I don't have space to, add another thing onto my plate, and I don't have the energy, physical energy, but also financial energy in order to put towards that. Now, I do believe there are times in our lives, like you might have a couple weeks of just being really busy. Or, you might have situations that are financially a little constraining. However, there is a commitment level and a trust that I'm seeing a lot of people not jump into. Also, looking at priorities. The fact is, you have just as much time as everybody else. You have just as much time. There are 24 hours in the day, and guess what? I have 24 hours in the day. You have 24 hours in the day. The next person has 24 hours in the day. So we all have the same amount of time. It is what you're doing with your time, what you're choosing to do with your time. And I already hear the complaints of like, you don't understand, Addison, you don't understand, because that's kind of the wah, like poor me, like you just don't understand, you work for yourself kind of energy that I know that I will get messages about this live for. And really it is that you just need to look at your priorities and go, okay, and your priorities and your boundaries, because a lot of our time gets swept up with lack of boundaries. So say you have a 40-hour-a-week job. You go to that job, that it takes 40 hours out of your week. But you get home and you're doing this on the phone, you're doing this. Guess what? That's a lack of boundaries. That's you not setting your limits. That's you not setting a boundary in your life, and therefore being overtaken by this lack of time, when really it's a lack of boundaries. It's you not setting your priorities. It's you not potentially going, no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. No, this is my time for me. And the same thing goes financially. Like, I understand, like, there is like some things that I look at and go, oh, like, yeah, I would love to do that one day, but I don't have, such and such amount of money. Some, big coaching programs, and I go, oh, like, yeah, I would like to do that, but, I don't have $200,000, sitting, at my disposal this moment. And so, potentially I can't do those, but there are always things you can do. There are always things you can step into. And so it is looking at where you can step into it, and also that money mindset. What are your thoughts around it? Is it like, oh, I don't have it? Or is it like, I know it's going to come into my life. I know that the energy is money is an energy, and it's going to flow to me, and it's going to come if I take this leap of faith, if I get committed, if I improve myself. The fact is, if you're improving yourself, the money will come, the relationship will come, all of it will come to you as long as you're raising your vibration consistently. And what I'm seeing is all these holdbacks, particularly again this year. Not that I don't always see holdbacks, but this year particularly, I'm seeing a lot of holdbacks in people's money, in their time, in their energy, and not realizing that yes, you do have to put time and energy into anything, and make space for any area you truly want to grow. So, like, I have Summer Orgasm Camp coming up in 2 weeks. It is my favorite class of the whole entire year, and it's not because I get on a table and get to model orgasm. That's fun too. That's always a fun workshop. But the reason I love it is because it goes through the female orgasm, how a man can help a woman, achieve orgasm, how he can help set the stage, how a woman can step into her own orgasm, because you guys don't make a woman orgasm. Sorry, you don't. But you'll have to come to the class to hear that. But one thing that we talk about in the class is the space you have to take, the time it takes for a woman. And the same thing goes for a man and their sexuality. And so if you're not taking the time in not just your sexuality, in the bedroom, with your partner, even with yourself, guess what? Most people aren't even taking their time sexually with themselves to really tune into their bodies. I'll ask clients all the time. It's funny because I ask clients all the time, like, okay, like, do you really feel your genitals? Like, and I'll be like, hey, guy I'm talking to, like, do you really, like, what does it feel like? And I don't know, like, but women, same thing. They're like, well, I get the vibrator out and I go to town. I'm like, and it's over, and like, so it feels like high and peaky, and it's because you're not taking the time. You're not getting filled in your sex because you're not taking the time. You're not putting out the energy. You're not actually committing. And the same thing goes in your relationship. Like, if you want to date, if you want to call in a relationship, you have to put the time in on self. You then have to put the time and the energy out in order to call people in. You're gonna have to go on dates, and yes, that's gonna take time away from other things, and that's okay. But if you really want that, if you're claiming that, if you're bitching about that, then I say that in the most loving way, but it is true. Like, if you're complaining about that, then you have to put in the time in order to make these connections. You're not going to make any progress in your life if you're not stepping in and making some space. And same thing with business, and it's doing the work, but most of the work is actually internal, guys. And I think that's what a lot of, you guys went flying. Sorry, the wind is really strong today. Here, let me put my foot on the tripod so you guys don't, like, Do you feel like you're in the Wizard of Oz? Yeah, you're flying. Anyway, but you have to put the time and the energy, and most of that time and energy and the space really comes from within it. It is you doing your work to change your vibration, change what you're putting out, but then there are actually things that you have to do in the human concrete world in order to open up doors. I talked to a gentleman probably 4 or 5 days ago, and this gentleman was saying like, yeah, but I don't have time to date. I want a woman. I want a deep relationship, but I don't have time to date. Like, I go on a date like every 3 weeks. I'm like, that's not going to work. That's not going. You communicating with women every 3 weeks on dating apps or whatever is not going to pull in your ideal relationship, because you're not putting the energy. You're telling the universe, I don't really care. Now there's over focusing in on something. You don't want to grasp at something so tightly and put so much focus and so much energy and, create so much space for that one thing that you are like squishing it to death. That's not going to do any good either. Then we're dealing with another issue that I'm not going to go into today, but yeah, you're dealing with a completely different issue. But if you really want your growth, you really want your expansion, you want change, then you do have to make space for yourself, and then make space in order to implement things that might not be comfortable, might not be the best feeling things. So like if you're somebody who is very shy, like dating might be like I'm gonna do this. If you were somebody who, sex, I have lots of women that they're like, sex just isn't fun for me. It's not orgasmic. It's not beautiful. I don't like. It's fine, and that's it's really the energy. But they're not willing to let their partners ravish their bodies for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes, 2 hours, 10 hours. If you were myself or my friends, that would be totally cool with that. No, not 10 hours. That's intense. That would be intense. But you get my point, is like they're not willing to put that energy out. And yes, it might be a little uncomfortable on the front end, but it is a requirement in order to open, in order to really call in the beauty that we're wanting. I think we make all these beautiful excuses, and they're beautiful excuses because a lot of times they are very valid. They're completely valid, but it's like, oh, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. But it is you committing. And one of the things that I would suggest you do is, if there's something that you're like, no, I really want that, but I'm not doing it, look at all your excuses and then look at it and go like, is that true? Is that true? Like, really ask yourself, is it true? Is it true that I don't have the time? Is it true that I can't take a step because I don't have the money? Well, could you take another step? Could you take any step towards it? Because with the money, do you need the money in order to take that step? Like what are your belief systems about that? And then I want you to ask yourself, and this is like a journal prompt, like go on this and go like, why am I scared of having it? Because a lot of the times we're scared of having what we desire. And so we come up with all of these things in order to block ourselves. All these excuses, again, beautiful excuses, but all these excuses to not pull in what we truly desire. And then you got to make the time, and you got to make the space. And it really is that simple. Like I said, we all have 24 hours in the day. And so look at your priorities. Where can you find the time? Where can you make the time? Because where can you get up a little bit earlier, stay up a little bit later, or set some boundaries in other places in order to make this thing your priority. And at some point you do have to take a leap of faith. I truly believe, I remember when I first, years ago, I remember sitting there and going like, do I have the time to step into this like when I was doing my own started my own coaching stuff. And I don't mean my business, like when I first hired my first coach, I had therapists, I had, teacher, but my first I had mentors, but my first true coach, I remember going like, do I have the time, the space, the energy? And I had to take a leap of faith and go, I feel drawn here. I feel like this is a soul call. Like, I feel my soul going, you have to go down this path. I wanted it so bad. And of course I had all this ego stuff come up in my head. I went, you know, like, should I? Like, I could use that money for this. I could, you know, do I have the time? At the time I was, you know, crazy busy, but I had to take the leap of faith, and I did, and it always worked out. It always has worked out. When you take that leap of faith, you grow, you change, and it's amazing how the universe will provide for you in those times. But if you expect these massive changes, you do have to also expect that you're going to have to shift. You're going to have to shift. You're going to have to do the inner work. You're going to have to do some transformational work. You have to put in time. Like I said, again, it's a lot of time, but you can't go, I want to change my sex. I want to completely change my relationship, my career, my whatever, and not be willing to put any effort in. You have to find the effort. You have to find the energy. You have to find that little piece of you that is like, no, we have to do this. You have to look at your priorities. And there's so many different ways you can do that. And that is actually why you get a coach. That is why you really do need to. A lot of people will step up into coaching because they know they need to make changes. They know that things have to change, and it's often hard for us to see where our own lives need to change, self-included. In all my psychological training as a therapist, when I was working as a therapist, there's this thing called Johari's window, and it's like what we can see and acknowledge, what others can see and acknowledge in us, what is unseen to us but others see in us, what is unseen to all, and that, like, it goes into all these different windows. I'm not going to go into a whole psychological training here, but what coaching and therapy and all that stuff works on is what is unseen to us but others can see in us. And so sometimes that is helpful, but I would look at your own BS excuses for why you're not taking steps, and then take the effing time and make the time. And just, I had somebody ask me the other day, well, how do I start meditating? And I was like, yeah, start. You start. And it was like, yeah, I know how, but how do you start? How do you make yourself do it? Well, you just make yourself do it. You go, this is a non-negotiable for me. I'm sitting my butt down here for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and I'm not getting up until I have done this. So sometimes it does come down to just making yourself do it, doing the damn thing. So that is my soapbox for today. You have to make time. You have to make space. And it can be difficult, and we all find our excuses. But if you truly want something, if you are truly passionate about something, you're going to look at your own stuff and step in. So anyway, hopefully you guys can get something out of that. I would love to hear the places below in the comments section where you do feel like you are holding yourself back, where you are going to commit. Tell me where you are going to commit to make more time, space, or put out more energy, even financial energy, since finances are an energy, into yourself. I'd love to hear all of that. You can PM me, or you can put that into the comment section. Like I mentioned earlier, Summer Orgasm Camp coming up. So if you're in the DFW area, check it out. It is an amazing workshop. It's definitely my favorite workshop of the entire year. So rich in content, so fun, so playful, but yet so incredibly educational. So check that out. Again, I have lots and lots of things going on in the next few weeks, and also into the fall, including a trip to Belize that I just announced a few days ago that I'm really excited about. So, all right, guys. Well, go check all that out at addisonbill.net, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. Stop faking it till you make it, and go start living it. Go claim that expansive life that you were meant to have. All right. I love you guys. Bye.